You got a beautiful heart, but sometimes that could be the very thing that's holding you back. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful thing to have a beautiful heart. It's a beautiful thing to look out for others. It's a beautiful thing to have the mentality of wanting to look out for everyone around you. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm the same way to a degree. For example, I could do anything here on YouTube, which is some of the things that I've already accomplished, some of the things that I've already done, some of the things that I actually still do. I could vlog my life, which is what I've done. I could create a reaction channel where I react to nothing but nonsense. I could create a gossip channel. I could create a channel where I'm just talking about people or bashing people and things like that. So it's a lot of things that I could do that doesn't pour into other people, but I choose to pour into other people. So looking out for other people isn't the problem. The problem is, when is the last time you've looked out for you? So pouring into other people, looking out for others is not the problem. The problem is, when is the last time you've poured into yourself? The question is, how often do you pour into yourself? The question is, do you pour into yourself? And that's a real serious question, because at the end of the day, if you're not pouring into yourself, you're hurting yourself. Reality is, as big of a heart that you have, that's a beautiful thing. But if you're not pouring into yourself as you're pouring into other people, you're actually hurting yourself. You're damaging yourself. You're doing more harm to yourself as you're pushing out good to the world. As you're pushing out good into other people and doing for other people, you're doing harm to yourself if you're not pouring into yourself as well. Just like this cup of life, this cup of water. This right here is replenishing. If I give this cup to someone else and say, here, quench your thirst. But if I never have the ability to fill this cup up and quench my own thirst, the reality is I'm losing out. I'm losing out. I'm not having the opportunity to replenish this water, to replenish this well, to make sure that as I share, as I give, I need to also make sure that I'm giving myself as well, giving to myself as well. So that's my point when I say there's nothing wrong with giving to other people. There's nothing wrong with doing for other people. There's nothing wrong with having a beautiful mind, having a beautiful personality to want to do for others. It's nothing wrong with having that type of character to want to help people. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to pour into yourself. You can't overcommit to doing for other people if you're not taking time out to work on yourself. You can't be so available to any and everybody and be available 24 hours within your day to help that job, to help that friend, to help that family member, to help whoever, if you're not taking time out for yourself, if you're not taking time out for your own health, if you're not going to the gym, getting that daily workout and keeping yourself a strong machine. If you're not taking time out to go to the gym to work on yourself, then how are you healthy in the process of helping? How are you healthy in the process of helping others? And I used to think like that too. I used to think, you got to put everything first. You got to put your family first. You got to put God first. You got to put, all of these things first. You got to help other people first. If you see old folks walking down the street, you know what I'm saying? You got to ask them, can I carry your bags and all of that. I used to think that all of that comes first, and to a degree, do not get me wrong. Many of what it is that I mentioned does come first. Many of what it is that I mentioned should come first in your world. When it comes to God, God should come first. When it comes to family, your family should come first. On top of the fact that you're also putting yourself first too. You're also making yourself a priority as well. You're also prioritizing your life and making sure, as much as I'm going to do for others, as much as I'm going to help that lady carry her bags to her house or to her car or whatever the case may be, as much as I'm going to help my kid, as much as I'm going to be here for my wife, as much as I'm going to show up for my family, as much as I'm going to shower my family with love, I'm going to also take time out to shower myself with love. I'm also going to prioritize my time and make sure that I take out a block of time to make sure that I'm pouring into myself as well. Again, these things are a priority. It's great to have good character. It's great to have these characteristics of sharing your water. It's great to have that mentality, bro, of being a person who want to help others. It's great to have that take my shirt off my back and give it to the next person who needs it. It's great to have that, but you got to make sure that you have the energy to show up for yourself. You have to make sure that you're not giving to the degree that you forget to give back to yourself, that you forget to take time to commit to yourself, that you forget to take time to commit to your goals, your dreams, the things that you want to do in life. You got to make sure that you don't forget to give to your own health, your wealth, to your vision, to your mind, your body, your spirit, taking time out to pray on a daily basis. You got to make sure that you're pouring into yourself and getting the proper rest, getting everything that you need on a daily basis to make sure that you stay fueled up for yourself. And I know selfish is a word that a lot of people deem to be considered harsh, but in all actuality, you have to be somewhat selfish. You have to be somewhat selfish in order to make sure that you are straight. Because the reality is, we are here for other people. Reality is, my family do come first. Reality is, God does come first. God does come above everything. Giving to others is important. It does come first in my walk of life. Contribution to charity is a priority. It is a top priority in life. But if I don't have to give, then what can I give? How good am I? If I don't have what it is to give. If I'm not well, how good can I be? If I'm not well, how can I be strong enough to give to you? If I'm not well, how can I be available if at some point my health declines? Because I'm not taking time out to make sure that I eat right. Because I'm not taking time out to make sure that I'm going to the gym and keeping myself strong and sturdy. Allowing myself to prolong my years in life if I'm not taking time out to nurture myself. How good can I be to the top priorities of my world? How good can I be to you if I'm not good to myself? So there's nothing wrong with being selfish, especially if the goal is to put others before you. There's nothing wrong with being selfish if the goal ultimately is to make sure that you're strong enough and sturdy enough to carry a heavy enough load on your back, to carry that heavy backpack on your back while you're traveling throughout your journey of life. How are you going to be able to have the energy if you're not pouring into yourself, if you're not getting the proper rest? How are you going to be able to really help others, bro, if you're not helping yourself? If you're not taking time out to show up for yourself, how can you really be available to others? Or how long do you think you'll be able to sustain it if you're not taking time out to pour into yourself? This cup right here, the water started at the top, but as you can see, we're about halfway done. So just imagine if you're giving all of this water away, but you have nothing to replenish. You have nothing to pour back into it. At what point can you continue to give? At what point will you be forced to stop to be able to give? As big of a heart that you have, at some point you won't be able to give. You have the best intentions to want to keep giving, but at some point you have the best intentions, but if you are not pouring back into this cup, at some point you will not be able to give. If you're not pouring into this cup to give to yourself, you will not have the energy to give. And even if you had the resources to continue to pour into this cup, if you do not pour into yourself, you will not have the energy to continue to give. You will not have the energy to continue to give, even if you have it to give. You have to nurture yourself. You have to, just like right now, you have to feed yourself. You won't have the energy to do the very thing that you want to do most, which is to help people, which is to help the people that are the priorities of your life. You won't be able to continue to keep leveraging yourself if you're not pouring into yourself as well. So in this reference, you're not selfish. You're not selfish in regards of not worrying about nobody else or not caring about helping nobody else. You're selfish to do what you got to do to make sure that you are pouring into yourself, to make sure that you are strong enough to be able to continue to give, to make sure that you can grow what it is that you're doing to be able to give more and be fruitful, to have an abundance of fruit to give. See, if you're not watering your own garden, you're limiting your ability to be fruitful. You're limiting your ability to be fruitful if you're not nurturing your own garden. Again, our goal is to make sure that we're giving to others. Again, our goal is to prioritize making sure that we're able to produce for our family and friends. But if we're not nurturing our garden, we're limiting our ability to produce enough that could actually take care of them and maybe their families. We're putting limitations on how much we can actually produce when we don't pour into ourselves, when we don't take time to pour into ourselves. Please take time to pour into yourself as you're giving to others, as you're nurturing to others, as you're being a contribution to someone else's business, as you're being a contribution to someone else's pockets. If you're putting money in someone else's pockets or spending 8, 10, 12, 15 hours a day at work and not taking time out to spend any time or a little bit of time to devote towards your work, your purpose, your reason for being here, then my friend, at some point you won't be able to leverage yourself. Then at some point you will break. You will have a hard time continuing to leverage yourself. At some point it will mess with your mentals. At some point you won't be able to produce because you're not giving back to yourself, because you're not taking time out for yourself, because you're not taking time out to work on that vision, because you're not taking time out to get to your workouts, because you're not taking time out to meal prep, because you're not taking time out to eat healthy, because you're not taking time out to feed your spirit, because you're not taking time out to feed your mind, your body, and your soul. You see how this works? It's okay to have love for others, but if you're not giving yourself self-love, then you're doing it all wrong. then at some point you will burn out. Then at some point your well will run dry. Then at some point you will not be able to produce, or your ability to produce will be limited, or it will run dry. You know what I'm saying? And many times we don't even realize it. And many times we don't see it because we're caught up in the flow of doing the same thing every day. We're caught up in the flow of answering to others. We're caught up in the flow of being available for everyone else. We're caught up in the flow of being accessible, too easily accessible to everyone else. We're being too easily accessible, too overly accessible for everyone else when you're not accessible to yourself. When your body is telling you it's time to get in that gym. When your dream is sitting on the shelf collecting dust because every single day you're pushing it to the side to pour into someone else, to pour into someone else's purpose, to pour into someone else's vision. Again, there's nothing wrong with being a producer. It's nothing wrong with helping people. It's nothing wrong with being accessible. It's nothing wrong with stretching. But you have to make sure that you take out time within your day to get yourself right, bro. You have to make sure that you take out time within your day to construct your vision, to work your purpose. You have to take time within each day to make sure that you're contributing to your purpose, to making sure that you're pouring into yourself as you're pouring into other people as well. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your post notification bell, come through in the comments, let's chop it up. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to share your thoughts. Feel free to share this video to a friend if you feel like you know someone who could use it, or continue to watch it if you need it for yourself. Or if you're new here, if you're new to my channel, feel free to go back and watch some of my older content if you like content like this. Keep in mind, this is a positive vibe community. We are building a love muscle, and I can't do it without you guys. We keep it raw, we keep it real, we keep it transparent here on my channel, but it's a positive vibe community. You know what I'm saying? You can be able to express yourself. Just keep in mind that it's a positive, no hate zone community. All right, again, tap all the way in, lock all the way in. If you appreciate this type of content, I do appreciate your support. I appreciate my day ones, my in-betweens, and my as of nows. All right, as always, do what brings life to you. Please don't let those words go over your head. Do what brings life to you, and it's a great chance that you'll bring life to whatever it is that you do. You already know. Rain, sleet, or snow, the goal is to #grow. Peace and blessings. I will holler at you guys in the next video. One love, strength.